My 33 wife, 29, is temporarily disabled and refuses to do anything for herself and will not let me hire help her. What do I do? So this is all going to sound very weird. It's really crazy situation, honest. My wife and I are big bikers. We go riding several times week. A few weeks ago, it started storming, and it made my wife have this really bad accident. She crashed face first and sustained bad injuries to her face, ribs, and both of her arms. She had a lot of cuts and broken bones. I thought it could be really bad, to the point where she could either die or be permanently paralyzed. To everyone's great relief, she would be able to make full recovery. She main long-term damage was broken bones. She cannot use her right arm at all right now, and has some movement in her left arm. But not much. I've waited on her hand and foot since then. I cook, clean, bathe, wipe, and do pretty much everything for her right now. Well, lately, she's gained a little more motion in her left arm. It's not great, but better. I figured she could start doing some things herself again. I asked her if she could start wiping herself at least. She said no, and that she didn't want to risk anything. I talked to the doctor about it, and he said that it's okay for her to gently ease into that. I told her this, but she said that it hurt too much. I said that we should try to get an in-home nurse for a little while, as I am getting exhausted by doing everything for her. We definitely have the money for it, so I didn't think it would be a big deal. She said there was no reason to do it since I am capable. I just sucked it up at this point. Now here is where it gets a little crazy. I have still pleased her sexually since this happened. We don't have sex, and she doesn't do anything for me, obviously. I'll initiate a decent amount, as I know it makes her happy. But recently she's been asking for it a lot. She asked me one day after work this week if I could help her out. I told her I was too tired and to wait until tomorrow. She got upset and said that it wasn't fair because she isn't capable of pleasing herself and that I should be there to make her feel better. I told her that she's no right to tell me what to do, and that she needs to stop asking me to do so much. She yelled back at me to the point where I snapped and cussed at her. We haven't spoken much since. Besides, when I am cleaning or doing things for her, am I an asshole for getting upset with her and telling her what I did? How do I help her? I want her to heal and be okay, but I don't want to be treated like. What can I do that is best for both of us? Too long, don't read. My wife is disabled and wants me to continue to wipe her and pleasure. I agree with the occupational therapist as well, and wanted to add that I cared for my ex-husband when he was my husband, while he recovered from 2 separate major surgeries in his abdominal area. I waited on him hand and foot. I washed him, brushed his teeth, brought him his meals, did everything he needed. He wasn't supposed to lift anything heavier than a gallon of milk, but he became ridiculously helpful. I started getting very frustrated when I had to drive to the accountant one day and run some errands and forgot my phone at home. I was gone for a couple hours, and when I got back, he was in bed crying because he had been calling me and couldn't get a hold of me. I asked what happened, and he said he was thirsty, but was afraid to get himself the gatorade in the fridge because it was on the top shelf, and he didn't think he was capable of that. Keep in mind that his arms worked fine. The gatorade was just a regular-sized bottle, not even a gallon. He was fully capable of walking down the stairs and getting a drink from the fridge. Instead, he laid in bed and cried because I wasn't home to get him a drink. This was 2 weeks after surgery, when he was up and mobile and on the mend. Caregiver depression is a real thing. It's exhausting, especially when it doesn't feel appreciated and you're being taken advantage of. I love caring for my people and happily cared for him, but it was exhausting and draining. I'm sure you will probably take care of yourself and make sure you're doing things that make you happy a couple times per week so you don't get burnt out. Coming from an occupational therapist assistant point of view, she's probably developing learned helplessness in addition to her trauma. I'd say bring in home health and occupational therapy to help her relearn how to do things on her own at a pace. she's able to do. Just saying this because no one else has. There's nothing wrong with you saying no to sexual requests, and you shouldn't have to feel guilty about it. You should sit down and talk to her about it, apologize for snapping, but explain that sometimes you just don't want to.